My name is Collins Towet. I'm an eco-activist and a founder of an organization, One Voice Affinity Center, OVAC. Through this organization, we are able to accelerate climate action through a strategy called CARE. CARE stands for Collaborate, Advocate, Research, and Educate. We do collaborate with organizations to make sure that we come up with projects or they come on board to help us execute our projects, because you realize that the global concern of climate change cannot be handled with one person or with one organization. So we do collaborate with organizations, private companies, and even the public sector to just make sure that we tackle the vulnerabilities of climate change. Other than the education part of it, we tend to educate children, the teenagers, and the youth on the importance of taking care of the environment, and more so the practical intervention through innovative ideas to the youth, just to make sure that they are aware of the environment, they are aware that climate change is here with us, and they can take action in solving climate change vulnerabilities, at the same time taking care of the environment and the forest. We have research whereby we conduct research as an organization so that our projects can be backed up by research in a way that we have those research done in institutions, learning institutions, and private sectors, just to identify the kind of vulnerabilities that is affecting a certain institution, because you realize that when this institution is being faced by, let's say, waste management, a certain institution has an issue of maybe clean water, or an institution that is being faced by drought. So for us to come up with viable projects, we do conduct research. Then once we get the findings, we come up with viable projects to just tackle the same. So we do this, and we have projects like Saving the Planet One Point at a Time. This is a project whereby we use as a technology over a smart waste management, whereby we use smart bins just to make sure that we clean the environment and have plastic bottles. But once you throw your plastic bottles, you get points for that. So another project that we have is a yearly project. It's called the Green Carpet. The Green Carpet is meant to bring on board leaders from all the divide, from the political divide, the business leaders, those leaders who are championing for climate action, just to have a conversation on more ways on how to handle climate change and protect ecosystems and their biodiversity. We realize that we also have another project called the garden-based learning. The garden-based learning is specifically for children, those who are in primary school, just to come up with a whole new generation whereby young children, as they grow up, they realize the importance of the environment and how it can affect them, and now ways of how to handle them. So through this initiative, we go to primary schools, set up garden in partnership with them, and now reward kids after they have taken care of seedlings, manage those seedlings into them becoming able to be grown as trees, and then later on planting them. So we do that, and then once we come back, we'll reward those who have good management skills when it comes to taking care of trees and planting trees. So those are the projects that we do handle. So most of the time we focus on also advocacy, because we realize that if we don't advocate for these things, if we don't advocate for policies, then we might be doing projects, but the next day you find that if it's not backed up by policy, then it cannot be enforced. An example of, maybe we come to a certain area, we do cleanups of plastic bottles, because they do directly affect the environment, they do directly affect the forest. So if policies are not enforced to make sure that the next day you don't come and find litter around, then that means our effort is in vain. So we, through care also, we also do advocacy, just to advocate for proper policies to manage environmental challenges. Like I said, One Voice Affinity Center is a youth-led organization, and Africa being a young planet, the effort of the youth will be really felt, because another example I'll give, in this organization we have the Climate Action Army. This is a volunteer group whereby we have a whole army of young people who are going to plant trees close to water catchment areas, just to make sure that those rivers that had dried before, we try to make sure that we plant more trees so that you can have enough water catchment areas. And that means if we have enough water, then that is good for agriculture. So we also trying to come up with projects that we seek private sector support and even the government support of new ways, innovative ways by the youth to generate water, so that we can use the water for irrigation, and that means we will have food security and our agriculture will enforce. So in one way or another, through this army, that is a climate action army by the youth, we'll be able to come together, and as young people, as vibrant young people, other than creating that sort of employment for ourselves, but we are at the same time tackling this climate change issue. So the fact that the youth are being engaged in this conversation and in the action will really have a great impact.